Taking a ball, you know? What?
There's the top.
The shades of them.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that.
We're down here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the color on that.
Same thing with Charlie's Lawn, isn't it?
These little turtle. Yeah, right? Yeah, a couple of beer bottles, but...
What's that in?
Only one turtle.
There's Fred. That's a barracuda. That's a barracuda. Hello.
Scary when they come around like that.
Hello.
I was not expecting that.
Somebody give me a piece of bread.
Yeah, don't shoot the sharks.
Here goes two. One. If you didn't get his picture, you can get Fred's over here.
Oh, yeah.
Mira, ¿dónde tiene que estar abajo? No te voy a dar texto, they really do follow them like that. Mira. What? You're gonna move it along?
Swollen over here. Oh, yeah. It's hanging out.
Está viniendo grande.
Andy grande.
Ah, feliz ya.
Big. Mucho grande. Yellow, right?
Yeah. Let's go see the dopey turtle. Is he gonna? Ay, bien altos. No, I didn't know. I was just we need to tell him.
Whatever he gets paid, it's not worth it.
I don't think so. I guess if you don't touch them, it's
Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
I guess if they're not hungry.
yeah. I mean,
Big fish.
fish is bad.
Oh, the sun finally came out.
What thing did you touch?
Oh, starfish, yeah?
Did it kind of grab you? Or what? Or just icky?
Starfish.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Please touch, but do not pick up.
Okay, I'll look.
Do they?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to touch the starfish.
What if you're hungry?
Yeah, feel like going for I mean, it feels like summer. I mean, third week in January.
Or is that?
He was from Virginia.
They put them on the wall. But this, they'll have it right in the middle. There's a little bit in there. See it?
Size
Turtle.
wrapper,
Oh
right?
my God. Here's your turtle.
You see it?
You'll be petting him, you'll lose your hand. I mean, they snap, they'll take your hand off.
And here comes baby.
How many are there in there?
And here goes another one. Ooh, big turtle.
Endangered species. Which one's left? Look.
Fort was named for the consort of King George III. Queen's Empire Charlotte from Mecklenburg, Germany. It was built against Napoleon. That bridge you came across was once a drawbridge. You can tell from the blue marks on either side of the wall. On either side of the wall, the little red holes. The wall is black for ventilation. Air conditioning.
That's the air
Wooden ship by I Bahamas in 1850. He was a soldier of the fort. Cannonballs were placed into a fire furnace to be heated red hot, then fired upon a wooden ship, which will set the ship on fire. It was then called a hot shot. That's in the book.
That's old George Stevens, you know.
What's around there?
Oh, it's okay. Some part of the movie.
Dungeons. It's a beautiful scene, the island. Go and get your last look. You heard right, your last look. That's the look, brother.
Fire warning!
That's right, get your last look now.
1859,
Be
Fred.
careful now, it's still loaded, Fred.
1859.
And it's still loaded.
Friend, stand next to the counter. Your husband wants to take a picture.
Yeah, saddle up. Like you ride the wall.
He would tell you.
All right, madam. Now you want to transfer yours also? Oh, yeah. It'll be a great trip for you.
Okay. My favorite spot.
Best you can say is a head of state without powers, as all the shots in this country are called by the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham. The grounds are guarded 24 hours a day. by members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and every other Saturday they have the changing of the guards. Up front you see a statue of Christopher Columbus. He landed on our shores in 1492. And legend has it that Christopher still comes back here each year as a ghost just to eat some of that conch. The building to the front left is the Central Bank of the Bahamas. That's the building that keeps the Bahamian dollar on par with the American dollar. Everything in shopping here is dollar for dollar. You will see a lot of churches and driving around Nassau. You know they say the Bahamas is a Christian land. But one significant thing about the churches being built here is that you can be sure wherever you see a church, there's a bar close by. One of the local songwriters went so far as to write a song. He says, the Bahamas, it is a Christian land. You can hear a sermon anywhere you stand. They build the bars right beside the church, so after Mass, you can drink and curse. Here's the main office for the Royal Bank of Canada. Royal Bank was the first bank to ever establish banking business here in the Bahamas. And I'm sure by now you've noticed a lot of pink buildings. Pink was once the colonial color of the Bahamas. To the right you have our Ministry of Foreign Affairs building, and the monument you see up front, it was a gift to the people of the Bahamas from the people of Mexico during our quincentennial celebrations in 1992. That's when we celebrated 500 years of Christopher Columbus's landfall on San Salvador. And this big building to the right is our main post office building. Now we do not have the privilege of having our mails delivered to our doorsteps, so we have to get up out of bed and come and get the mail. The boxes are located on the outside. That's to give us access to our mail 24 hours a day. They are protected with combination locks. So folks would normally apply to a post office that is nearer to their neighborhoods. The property over to the left there is the Royal Victoria Gardens, former site of the Royal Victoria Hotel. And before being destroyed by fire, it's still standing. That would have been the oldest hotel. Now, I'm sure by now those of you who are visiting us for the first time here in the Bahamas, you will have realized that we do drive on the left-hand side of the road. I know it's not the wrong side, we like to say it's the other side. It's one of our British habits that we will not let go of, because it is to remind us that we were once a British colony. Now, because of the closeness of time, only if you want to stop here at this port, we can do so. Otherwise, we can just talk about it and be on our way to the cruise ship. Anyone wants to stop at this port? No. Okay, so this is where democracy comes in. Okay, this particular fort was built by the same governor who built Fort Charlotte, Lord Dudmore. It was built mainly as a lookout point, but also to protect this section of the island. You may take note the fort was built in the shape of a boat, a very strategic move. The idea for this, warships coming in from this northern direction, and bear in mind that was before all these trees had grown up, before we had all those tall buildings on Paradise Island. So boats coming in to attack from this angle would notice this building here, and to them it looked like a great big warship sitting in the middle of the ocean. So they would head directly towards this fort to launch an attack. Meanwhile, the British would just take their boats around, do a counter attack from the side, and defeat the enemy. So there was a lot of strategy in building this fort. As you should have read at the other fort, none of the forts here really ever saw much action, and after the pirates were expelled from this region, all of the original cannons were sent back to England, and dummy cannons sent in. So none of the cannons you see are the original cannons. From here you can get a top view of Paradise Island. There's the hotel directly on the side of us now that's being built. That will be a 23-story high hotel, and the casino will move from its present location, and that's Atlantis Hotel, the Peach Hotel. You know, as the Haymans, we don't have to worry about that because we are not allowed to gamble in the casinos anyway.